Welcome to the City of St. Albans official podcast from the desk of Mayor James, a podcast dedicated to adding context and commentary to the important issues here in St. Albans, West Virginia. In each episode, St. Albans Mayor Scott James will discuss relevant and important topics related to the city, such as upcoming events, new businesses in town, economic development, public safety, and of course, the quality of life here in St. Albans. And of course, as our discussion goes in this type of inside look, we hope we give you, the citizens, a better understanding of all the decisions and topics being made on your behalf and feel more engaged with your community. So be sure to subscribe to our show on your favorite podcast platform. And of course, each episode will be made available on the City of St. Albans website at stalbanswv.com. With that said, let's welcome our host, the Honorable Mayor Scott James. How are you, sir?
Well, I'm doing great. Thank you so much, Anthony. I appreciate it and appreciate the opportunity to come in and talk about St. Albans, because anytime I have a chance to promote and talk about St. Albans, I'm all in.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot going on these days. I mean, it seems like there is something new in the ether, in the air, going on in St. Albans every single day. And hopefully we can bring a lot of those topics into light and give relevant context to them with our discussion today. So I wanted to kind of brief and go through some of the things that may have happened in the city council meetings, especially as things go on. I mean, these hot topics are everything from, the building department, of course, the update on the junior high, and all these other things going on. And then we'll go through some past events that happened, and of course, upcoming events coming up this fall. So why don't we just crack the book open and kind of go down the list of hot topics that you've got on your mind?
Sounds good to me, man.
Yeah, but as you guys can see in town, you've probably seen a lot of these dilapidated structures and buildings actually disappearing.
Yes.
And I see that the building department has been pretty active. Marshall Cheney over there is doing a great job of tearing down these structures, and hopefully you can give some more insight on what has been going on in that department.
Yeah, Marshall came to me a while back and said, I'm thinking about developing a program where the city will approach the homeowner of the dilapidated house or building, and we'll pay for the demolish fee. And then the homeowner has to pay for the dump fee. Okay. And we take that money and put back in the account, and that allows us to tear more houses down. Now, what I want to say is, because of that, J.B. McCuskey, state auditor, got $10 million
oh, wow. Okay.
In the legislature this past year to tear down dilapidated structures. And it's going through the DEP, but because we initiated this program, we got an award through the DEP for $540,000.
So that goes back into the coffers to further that initiative.
Sure.
To make it less of a burden on the city to kind of move it along.
Yeah, reimburse some of what we've already done, but then it'll allow us to tear down some structures in the future. So, to be honest with you, since I took office in 2017, initially we got about 7 buildings torn down, or houses. In the last 3 to 4 months, we've had 8.
Wow.
There's 8 more on the list. And
Great.
with the money that we just received, or we're going to receive from the state, we might be able to get the majority of the dilapidated buildings in St. Albans torn down.
Well, it's definitely making a difference. I mean, as you roll through town, you can actually see a lot of these quote-unquote empty spaces look better.
Yes.
Empty.
They do. And what we want is people to buy the properties. Yeah. What I'd prefer is to build single-dwelling homes.
Yeah.
I don't want rental property.
Right.
Because sometimes with rental property, you got to be careful who you rent to.
Right. Absolutely.
So we've got a lot of rental property in St. Albans. We've got some very responsible landlords, and we've got some irresponsible landlords.
Yeah.
All right, and we're going after them. We're bringing them to court if they're irresponsible and not doing what they're supposed to do. And that's why we're getting more and more houses and dilapidated buildings torn down.
That's great news. And, of course, you can visit the city's website for that. It's called the Demolition Agreement, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Demolition Agreement.
You can hit the city's website at stalbanswv.com and click on the building department's page, and I think they've got that form there, so you can kind of start that process with the building department.
Yeah, they really do. We just recently had somebody contact us about a very large building in St. Albans. I'm not going to mention which one, wanting it torn down, but that would be a little bit too pricey for us. It would probably cost $400,000 to $500,000 to tear it down.
Well, we'll leave that name unnamed at this point.
Yeah. So,
but one that absolutely has probably been one of the hottest topics in town for quite some time is that dilapidated St. Albans Junior High building. Is there an update that, from that 80s lawsuit that's now just kind of keeping it in limbo? Is that moving along, or is it still stuck, or what's going on there?
No, I talked Monday night to our city attorney after the meeting. What has happened there is we discovered when we went and did the title search, because we signed a contract with the owner of the junior high to sign it over to us in lieu of the fines. He owed us $700 and some thousand in fines. We started fining him. So in the title search, they found out that there was a fraudulent conveyance from one person to himself.
Really?
On the junior high. So our attorneys approached him, and at first he was going to turn it over. Now he wants $25,000. We're not going to pay it. We filed a lawsuit, and we're going to win in the long run.
Sure.
But unfortunately, it delays a little bit of the tearing down of the junior high.
Yeah.
So.
And has there been any talk about any plans for that piece of property or parcel after the demolition and cleanup, or is it just kind of?
Well, there has been everybody's got their wants and desires. Me personally, I'd like to subdivide it into 2 to 3 lots, maybe 4. I don't know exactly how large it is, and build some single dwelling homes.
That's a good idea.
Start building property values up in that area and stuff.
Sure, I think that'd be a good idea to bump the property value.
Sure,
as it's been down for so long with that sitting there, falling apart.
And we're getting the house behind it. The first house, if you're going up Lee Street to the right, we're getting it torn down too.
Good deal.
Yeah.
Good deal. Well, that's great news about some of the clearing of the dilapidated structures in town, and of course one that actually is starting to kind of come to light is the brand new police station out there on McCorkle Avenue.
Man, I'm so excited.
Oh boy, that's a beauty, isn't it? State of the art facility.
It's going to be, if not the best, one of the best police stations in the state of West Virginia.
Yeah.
We're getting a great deal. It's 16,000 square foot. The owner of the building, Doug Scaff Sr., is building it out to our specifications. All right, and it's costing us $1.91 million.
Wow!
And if we were to build that from the ground up, it would be $6 to $8 million at least.
Wow!
If not more.
And that's been probably as far as a gut job almost on that whole entire building, using what was there, but making it entire. As far as the improvement of that building too.
Yeah, it really and truthfully is. And what people got to understand is the present police station. When they took possession of that, the police and the fire share a building. The police station had 13 full-time employees.
Oh, wow.
Officers. Now we have 26. So this is long overdue, so I'm excited about it. It's going to make everything better for the citizens of St. Albans.
Yeah, I think it is too. I mean, especially having access to Route 60.
Yeah.
And, being able to hit more and more locations quicker and easier versus coming across town But anyway, so any idea of the expected move-in,
early
opening?
September.
September, okay.
We there's got to be another meeting of the building commission, and I'm hoping they get that done before the first meeting in September council meeting.
Sure.
September 6th. Once we get it approved by then they'll work all the logistics out on the loan and everything else.
Sounds great. Sounds good. We'll be looking for that opening there, but. Another topic that's been probably kicked around more so than a dead mule, the annexation of Sun Valley. I heard that's back on kind of the burner again a little bit too.
It is, and you know, back when we first started doing this, we had enough people, we felt, because the way the state law reads, and it's made it much more difficult to annex areas with state law. But if you can get 50.01% of the people in that area you want to annex, the county commission cannot deny you. All right, so, but COVID hit.
Right.
And, we couldn't go door to door. We couldn't do things like that. But we have discussed starting to back up. And once we get started, it's going to be quick. I think we'll be successful in annexing that area there. Of course, there's a lot of other areas I would like. St. Albans is landlocked, Anthony. We don't have a lot of space to expand and everything.
Right.
So we need to annex either up Route 60 through Jefferson area, down 817, and down 60. But it's not an easy process, so we keep plugging away.
Right. And then, of course, as things progress, there's probably going to be other areas involved too. I mean, even out towards River Lake and even further out that may have also interest in it too.
Well, if
beyond those boundaries.
Here's the thing: if we can get like up 60 into Jefferson, down 817. That produces a lot of revenue for the city.
It does.
Then we would look at maybe annexing River Bend and those areas like that. Right. But, the annexation of Sun Valley, doesn't bring a lot of revenue in from B&O tax, so to speak. But, they're part of our community. They want in here, and we want to get them in here. So,
and it does give them additional services. That they probably are craving right now and absolutely needing.
It's unbelievable. Our city attorney, Tim LaFawn's been a city attorney for many, many years for different municipalities. He doesn't understand why anybody wouldn't want to be in the city. Anytime there was an incident out there fire-wise, St. Albans Fire Department was always first on the scene.
Yeah.
Okay? Even though that wasn't our city, we still were called and we went there. Police does not right now have any jurisdiction in that area. So, I've been hearing some rumblings down around Marlene, Addition, Chemical City in that area. Yeah. They're wanting to come into the city, but we got to get enough people to where we have over 50% of the people that want to be part of it.
So after,
and businesses.
And businesses too. So after that, I guess it's safe to say it's a petition. Somewhat of a petition process. Yeah. After the petition, what happens at that point? Does it go into
it goes up
council?
To the county commission.
Okay.
Kanawha County Commission, and like I said, based on state law, if we've got over 50% of the property owners, landowners in that area, because some of it's rental property. Right. If you rent a piece of property in that area, you don't get a vote. But property owners do get a vote. And if we can get over 50%, then they can't deny us. I mean, we can annex that area.
Yeah. Well, that's exciting because, like you said, I wouldn't know anybody that wouldn't want to come in to have the benefit of all those services that the city of St. Albans offers.
We charge $75 a quarter.
Yeah.
That includes police, fire, public works, parks and rec, and whatever else the city brings, services they provide. $75, that's $300 a year.
Yeah.
All right. I've talked to people that have waste management, and they pay way more than that.
Yeah, they do.
All right, for just trash pickup. And that doesn't include the other services that we provide.
Yeah, that's great news, and I personally hope it all goes well and everybody starts to see the benefit of being included in the city of St. Albans. I'll kind of toss it to you after this one, but one of the small things that I've kind of been interested in is the actual update on the city seatbelt ordinance. I've seen a lot of drivers, and in the cars when I stop at lights and see them without seatbelts.
Yeah, I'm not.
What's going on with that one?
We approve that, and it just strengthens the seatbelt law. You know, bottom line is we have to have people wearing seatbelts because it's a proven fact that if you're in an accident, be it multiple car or an individual accident, seatbelts improve your chances of surviving and not getting hurt as much. And it just strengthens the seatbelt law.
So what I'm reading, there was an issue about it being a secondary offense or
they're wanting to bring it up to a primary offense.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's sort of what I was reading. I was unclear on how that was understood.
And what people got to understand is we get safety grants from the state and federal government periodically, and one of them might be for distracted driving. So if you're on your cell phone, they're going to nail you.
Yeah.
All right. Others are for not seatbelt laws. They're going to nail you. And I'm going to tell you a story. Yesterday, I was going to the doctor's yesterday morning, and I was going out Poplar Fork from Coal Mountain over to Taze Valley.
Okay, yeah.
And I'm driving out through there, and all of a sudden, this vehicle's coming towards me. All right? And I thought, okay, he'll see me and he'll turn. He didn't turn.
Oh, my.
And he kept coming towards me. And I finally blew my horn, and he looked up. So obviously he was a distracted driver.
Right.
All right. So people, you got to use some common sense. Everybody out there thinks they're invincible. All right. But let me tell you something. There's too many deaths out there on the highways in the United States because of distracted driving or not wearing a seatbelt. So do what you're supposed to do, and good things will happen.
Absolutely. And of course, one of the recent topics that has actually kind of blown up on socials that I've noticed is the talk of the dock and the boat ramp. That project is actually moving forward in town, and we brought in Park Superintendent Kevin Pennington to kind of add in some gaps and give his take and insight on that project as well, along with the mayor's commentary on that project. So, kind of bring us up to date on, if you would, Kevin. Where it's at. You know, I noticed that Landcorp out of Milton is actually going to be the builder and construction company.
Right, yes.
Whereas Chapman Technical actually was awarded the design and the plans and everything else. So as far as where it's at right now, you know, it's here, and then the next steps are this, and that. So take us through those steps.
Okay, let's start at the beginning.
Sure.
You know, the city of St. Albans has been trying for this boat dock for a long time. And it's finally here.
Thanks to the mayor too.
Oh, the mayor was on the phone with these people almost on a weekly basis. You know, it couldn't have happened without him.
Right.
And but you know, we started back about 6.5 years ago. Started the talks with the DNR, and we finally got the approval to do it. But we were always behind Winfield and Nitro.
Right.
Is where we were always told. Well, it slowed down because they actually messed up on Winfield's dock.
The ramp.
And then they had to go back in and repair that. And, you know, we got a lot of flack from people and stuff saying, you know, why isn't the city doing anything? We knew where we stood at, and we were waiting patiently as best we could. You know, thankfully the mayor kept, you know, on the phone with the DNR.
Yeah.
And you know, so on September the 6th, Landcorp will start on our new dock.
That's great.
And you know, we put it out on our social. You know, the blueprints of it. Roger Kennedy down at Chapman Technical sent those over to me.
Yeah.
And he's also trying to work on a colored one, just so you know it'll look a little bit better for people, so they can see that.
Yeah.
And but this new dock is going to be about 10 to 15 feet longer than our old dock.
Wow.
And, you know, a lot of people say, that doesn't look very big. But honestly and truthfully, about 4 years ago, we cut our dock in half just to survive what we could.
Yeah.
So when I say 15 feet longer than the dock we had, then you're actually looking at a 40-foot dock that's sitting down there right now. It's going to actually be 70 foot. So It's almost double what it was. The whole bottom of Roadside Park is going to get a facelift.
Oh, great.
The West Virginia paving's coming in. They're going to repave the whole bottom. They're going to add additional parking spots throughout. A lot more handicap parking spots are going to be added.
Oh, great. Good.
We're going to have a ADA compliant sidewalk the whole length of the bottom of Roadside Park.
Along the riverbank. Yeah.
Yes, along the riverbank. And then it's going to tie into the dock itself. The dock is going to be an L-shaped dock. What you're going to do is you're going to go down the gangplank to a concrete platform area. And from there, it'll go down to the dock, and it'll be an L-shaped dock. So that'll give boats the ability to tie off onto it on two sides of the dock.
I guess that's where the word courtesy dock comes in.
Yeah, they throw out a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
and I know that on our social and stuff that people talked about the ramp itself.
Right.
The ramp itself is deemed in good shape, but there was a drop off after it. So what we've done is we are addressing that with what they call riprap, which is rock. And they're going to make a smooth transition. It's going to be the same grade as the ramp is now, but it's going to go 15 feet further out.
And that makes it easier for boaters to come in and out of the river.
Yeah,
actually.
And plus they're going to feel, when they come off concrete onto rock, they're going to feel. They're going to know that they have 15 feet.
Good.
Then even beyond that, it's going to be a gradual drop-off with riprap. That'll help out through there as well.
Oh, that's great. That's great news.
So
yeah, well, we're excited. I mean, people want to blame the mayor, blame city council, or blame the city for this or that. This is the DNR, and I'm very appreciative of the DNR. Once it's completed, they own it. We don't own it.
Right.
All right, but what they're going to do for the city of St. Albans is greatly appreciated, and we understand that between COVID and other situations, there's delays sometimes, and but we're going to get her done. And starting September 6th, people, you got to understand, the lower parking lot at Roadside Park is going to be blocked off. You cannot get on the lower parking lot. It's not going to be allowed. And till it's completed, then we'll get back there. But like I said, they're going to build the dock. They're going to redo the parking lot. They're going to line it. It's going to be a bigger and better situation. So it's going to bring more commerce to the city of St. Albans, because when people put their boats in, they stop by the stores and they buy their drinks, their snacks, and ice and everything else.
Absolutely.
And they've been going elsewhere. Now they're going to be coming back to St. Albans.
And it leaves a good taste in their mouth that they can access the river easier, safer, and have more space to park. And all these conveniences are now there in St. Albans versus, oh, man, I don't want to deal with that ramp or whatever, and just move on.
Right.
Now they can be in St. Albans again and have a safer time and a good trip here in the fishing and boating.
And I've got to give credit to Senator Nelson, Senator Tom DeCubo of the 17th District for out there fighting for us to get this done. Senator DeCubo's a big boater, and he loves the St. Albans ramp, and it's going to be bigger and better. But I'm excited about what's going on and what it's going to bring to our city.
Likewise. And as far as the completion date, did they give anything concrete? No pun intended.
Well, it's scheduled for completion on January the 3rd.
Okay,
they have
cool.
a contract, and that's the completion date that Land Corps has to go with which is January 3rd. I know, some of the issues that could happen is the supplies and getting the materials, but Land Corps has already started that process of ordering all that stuff. So, we're hoping that there's no delays there.
Yeah.
And like the mayor said, it's going to be a minor inconvenience when we close off the bottom of Roadside Park. But boy, it's going to be fantastic when it's done.
A little bit of convenience for a great party afterwards.
Exactly. And honestly, the mayor made the call. We could have possibly closed this thing, about a week ago, and but we wanted to get them through Labor Day weekend, get them through the major part of the boating season, and then we can push this into the winter months, and get it done. So we're really excited about this. This is one of the our parks are beautiful. I love our parks, but one of the biggest eyesores that I deal with is that dock, and the public doesn't understand that it's not on us. We wanted it done 6 years ago. This mayor wanted it done day one when he came into office. He's like, Kevin, what's going on? But I mean, the state is making a huge investment in Roadside Park.
Good.
This is going to be over $500,000 that they're going to put into Roadside Park for us.
Great.
And it's going to benefit the city. Like the mayor was talking about, those boats take gas.
Absolutely.
And we have, a lot of gas stations around here. So, I've dealt with a lot of the fishermen, and, they've been talking to me and everything, and they love St. Albans.
So this may be a little bit out there, and without putting either one of you on the spot, do you ever see a return to any of the big events that used to be at Roadside?
Possibly. I'd like to do something. We've replaced Riverfest, moved to Nitro.
Sure.
That was their decision. It wasn't anything St. Albans did, but I'd like to do something towards the end of summer or something like that, to have some event down there, festival, because the more, what I've discovered, Anthony, is, and I'm going to be a little winded here, but I was naive when I first took office. I thought I was going to call Cheddar's or one of these national chains, and they were going to come to the city. Well, we don't meet the logistics of that. All right? So what we have to do is we have to give people a reason to come to St. Albans, be it Yak Fest, be it the Chili Festival, be it the outdoor recreation that we have right now. And once they come to St. Albans, guess what? They keep coming back.
Absolutely.
All right? And so we're excited about that, and I'd like to have something over at Roadside Park, towards the end of the summer, early fall, that we could bring more people to St. Albans.
Absolutely. Well, speaking of, that would help out too, because it would kind of cap off the end of a great event season. I kind of look at it as St. Albans actually has its own event season nowadays.
It's crazy, man.
It feels like, because you had, this past year, you had an unbelievable Yak Fest.
Right.
You had on the tail end of that, you had Heritage Festival.
Heritage Days.
And you had two back-to-back successful events. I mean, Tour de Cole was in there with probably, 2,000, 4,000 people?
There was 2,000 coming down the river at Tour de Cole. During the Yak Fest, we had between 11 and 12,000 people on Old Main between Friday and Saturday. Heritage Days, I want to give credit to the individuals that stepped up after the Historical Society chose not to do Founders Day, which has been a long-standing festival in St. Albans, especially on our 150th anniversary. I'm just like, really?
The sesquicentennial.
Oh, yeah. And so they stepped up. They did a good job. And, oh, my gosh, we got Mountaineer Main Street coming up on August 27th.
That's going to be big.
Oh, it's going to be huge. October the 8th, we got the Chili Festival. And I found out yesterday on October the 22nd, we're going to have a pub crawl down in that area.
Let's back up here. The 22nd, you heard it here first, the October 22nd, St. Albans is having a pub crawl.
Yeah, it's not the city. There's other people that are putting it on.
A private group of people.
Yeah, and it's going to be a pub crawl like they have up in Charleston. It's going to draw a lot of people to St. Albans.
Okay. So speaking of St. Albans and Nitro, I heard we had some partnering going on to put on a Labor Day fireworks show going on Labor Day between the city of St. Albans and Nitro off the bridge.
It might be the best fireworks show in the state of West Virginia this year.
I'm getting that feeling because of all the talk around it and you know, the hubbub and buzz around it that it's supposed to be a pretty large display.
Yeah, it's September 4th. It'll probably go off. We're going to close the St. Albans Nitro Bridge for people. People can hang out on the bridge and watch fireworks. We got to keep the middle lane open for emergency vehicles, but it's going to be fantastic. And it's not your Class B or Class C fireworks. It's your Class D fireworks. It's the big dogs.
Oh, okay.
And it's going to be awesome. It should be between 20 and 30-minute show.
Wow.
And, Dave Casebolt, the mayor of Nitro, and I get along great. And there's other things we're looking at partnering with. We've actually talked about maybe partnering with paving projects so we get more for our dollar.
Right.
Different sense. Things like that. So we'll have to see. But I'm going to tell you what, September 4th, starting about 9:20, 9:30, the fireworks show is going to be awesome.
And what I've read is actually the not the participants, but the spectators can actually walk the bridge.
Yep.
And view those fireworks from the bridge that will be set off at the Roadside Park area.
The lower parking lot of the roadside, and they can view them from the St. Albans Nitro Bridge or up through Roadside Park or on the other side of the river. Whatever's best for everybody.
Great. I mean, you probably see a lot of it from a lot of vantage points in town.
Now, the bottom of Roadside will be closed because that's where they'll be setting those off.
Sure. Okay.
So that's people need to understand that.
That's what we got to say. There'll be no boats entering the river that day on September 4th at Roadside Park.
Okay.
Okay. And because we can't have trailers and trucks and stuff parked there because it's got to have a clearance zone. And it goes all the way back to the highway.
And there's probably a lot of falling debris that would damage and stuff things too.
Exactly.
But as far as events, I mean, even Parks and Rec have a number of events coming up here in the tail end of 2022. I mean, just you and I were talking today, Kevin, about the 34th year anniversary of the Festival of Lights.
34 years, the Festival of Lights.
34 years, man.
It's unbelievable. And I'm still telling you to this day, it is the best light show, Christmas display show in this state.
I wouldn't argue with that one.
And, a lot of people don't realize most of those displays are handmade by our guys in the park.
Absolutely, yeah.
And they freehand draw and they make those. It's unbelievable. But just to think, 34 years.
Yeah,
that's been going on.
It's incredible. And of course, before that, you've got the Haunted Trail coming up in October. You've got a major music festival that just kind of materialized this year called Dragonpalooza.
Dragonpalooza. Who came up with that name, Tony?
I don't know.
It might have been Anthony Rumia.
Yeah.
But no, it's going to be a great event. I mean, there's 8 bands, 2 stages, all kinds of food vendors, beverage vendors, craft vendors, even a Motley Crue kind of tribute band for the main acts, which is going to be kind of cool. But anyway, Kevin, tell us a little bit more about some of the upcoming events here in the parks.
Okay, well, you hit on just
pretty
pretty much everything, but that Dragonpalooza, it's going to be fantastic. I know Scott Tweedy, our program coordinator.
Oh, he's a hard worker.
And Trish and you and a lot of people have worked to get this going, and it's going to be fantastic. But it's going to be October the 1st up in City Park, and what we're going to do is it's going to run from 2 p to 10 o'clock at night. And what we're going to do for safety issues is everybody's going to park down at the high school, and we're going to shuttle bus them up and down the hill. So, we won't have that traffic going on. So, but that's going to be a fantastic event. Our Haunted Trail, this is probably about our 14th, 15th year of our Haunted Trail. And, it keeps getting bigger and better. Mm-hmm. What I love about the Haunted Trail more than anything else is the volunteers that we have that works this. It takes about 75 to 100 people to put on this show. And a lot of those are your middle school kids and your high school kids here in St. Albans.
Yeah, from what I've heard, they actually look forward to coming out and helping.
Oh, yeah. It's fantastic, and it's only grown.
Yeah.
And so really looking forward to that. Those are going to be the weekends of October 14th and 15th and the 21st and 22nd.
Great.
So there's a potential rain out date in there, but we're not going to throw it out because I don't want to get people confused.
Yeah, that kind of confuses everything.
Yeah, so, but, we're going to run it for 2 weekends.
Okay.
So looking forward to that. But, back to the Festival of Lights, 34 years.
Wow.
And, what we're going to do is we're going to kick it off with our annual walkthrough of the lights. That's going to be November the 22nd. We always run it Thanksgiving week. Always the Tuesday of Thanksgiving week, we have the walkthrough. And then, we started about 5 years ago the hay rides.
Right.
And that
a big hit.
Oh, it's huge. And we're still trying to learn how to deal with the flow of people we have, because, you're looking at probably 2,000 to 3,000 people that come through our Festival of Lights for the hay rides.
Absolutely.
Which it's the best way in the world to see our lights.
Yeah, it is.
You get to sit back and relax, and we drive you through the park.
Absolutely.
So, we're still trying to work that out.
And I've heard the mayor sometimes will drive a tractor through with a group.
I believe he's drove one every year for us.
I believe I have, yeah.
And usually he's the one that actually kicks it off. He's
Nice.
he's the first one that drives it through. And I remember the first year he was a little hesitant, and I sat right behind him, kind of hanging on the hay ride and the tractor, and went great. And people love to see him up there. But he's kicked it off for us for every year that we've done it, and hopefully he'll be up there again this year with us. But that'll be on the Wednesday night. So
Haven't wrecked yet?
Not at all. Not that I've heard.
We need to knock on some wood.
Yeah.
But, we always run that Wednesday before Thanksgiving, and I think it's fantastic because a lot of people are coming in.
Oh, yeah.
And, getting ready for Thanksgiving dinner. And, they're out and about. They're going to all of our local restaurants, and, hey, let's go through there.
Yeah.
It's become a tradition for people. People are looking for our hay rides.
Absolutely.
So, that'll be on the 23rd.
Great
Anthony,
news.
one thing I want to say.
Sure, I was going to ask for closing remarks, too.
Is, every mayor will say this, but I'll put our Parks and Rec department up against anybody's, our police department up against anybody's, our fire department up against anybody's, Public Works. I've heard from people that moved here from other communities, said their trash pickup and different things like that are unmatched. They've never had it so good.
Yes.
All right, but what Parks and Rec does is unbelievable.
It is.
And anybody in this town that says there's nothing to do in this town, they've got their head in the sand.
I would totally agree.
There's no doubt about it, because we have something going on every week or every 2 weeks, and a lot of it is attributed to the Parks and Rec, amongst other things. So, like the advertisement says, St. Albans is West Virginia's best kept secret, but the secret's getting out.
Totally agree. Kevin, do you have any closing remarks?
No, just, got those events coming up, and I super excited about the fireworks. I really look forward to that. And but I think I heard one of you guys say the St. Albans Nitro Bridge, but it is the St. Albans Bridge. We beat them in football last year. And so they will be closing the St. Albans Bridge for the fireworks.
Okay. So we can just kind of be safe and say the Dick Henderson Bridge, right?
Yeah, on the other side of the river, they call it the Nitro St. Albans Bridge. Yeah. I'm like, no, it's the St. Albans Bridge.
And I'm sure you and Mayor Casebolt kind of go back and forth.
Oh, we have fun. Okay. Yeah, we do.
Well, fellas, I want to thank you guys for hopping in there this afternoon and talking with us about, some breaking topics, some good topics here in town that are, kind of on a lot of people's top of mind, and just giving your time this evening. I really appreciate you, stepping in and coming on down for this.
Sure. Hey, my pleasure, and I thank you all for having us.
Absolutely. And we want to thank our producer, Anthony Lewis, for...
Go, Anthony.
He says he's a button pusher, but he makes a lot of things happen behind the scenes, so we thank you too, Anthony.
We might start calling him A-Dog.
A-Dog. But, of course, we want to thank you, the listeners. Thank you for joining us on this very first episode of the City of St. Albans official podcast from the desk of Mayor James. And, of course, we hope that this podcast gives you a better understanding of the important issues facing our city and what we're doing to address them. And, we appreciate your interest in and support of our efforts to make St. Albans a thriving community for all. And at that note, be sure to subscribe, like, and share our podcast on your favorite podcast platform and, of course, on social media. Thank you again. We'll see you on the next episode.